This may sound like a rumor, but believe me, it's not. Microsoft is apparently interested in acquiring the Warner Brothers Gaming Division. That would be absolutely massive. Let's talk about it. What is going on, everybody? Randall Thor19, the man with the million, back again with another video. Hope everyone's having a great day, and if you guys could do me a big favor, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate that. Thank you very much, guys. Yesterday ended up being a pretty big day for Xbox news. We first had the confirmation from Microsoft themselves announcing the Xbox Game Showcase July event, which is taking place on July 23rd. And then a website called The Information put out an article saying that Microsoft was reportedly interested in buying the Warner Brothers Gaming Division, which caused everybody in the industry to stop what they're doing and give their opinions on the matter. Now, the idea that Warner Brothers Gaming Division is up for sale isn't exactly new news. A couple weeks ago, CNBC reported that EA, Activision, and Take-Two were interested in acquiring the gaming division and some of its licenses from parent company AT&T because AT&T was looking to sell off the division because they have an enormous amount of debt, somewhere in the neighborhood of $154 billion, and they wanted to sell their position in gaming for around $4 billion. And when this news broke, most people were not happy that Rocksteady and Netherrealm and all the studios that are in Warner Brothers Gaming Division could be working for EA, pumping out yearly Batman games with a ridiculous microtransaction scheme, or the sobering idea that Activision would just take those studios and turn them into support studios for Call of Duty. People were not happy with the idea of those three publishers buying a bigger publisher because there'd be a lot of job turnover, and people were worried about Rocksteady, Netherrealm, and Monolith Productions becoming lesser studios because of that. But yesterday, the number of suitors went up from 3 to 4, as The Information is reporting that Microsoft is quite interested in picking up the large number of studios owned by the Warner Brothers Gaming Division. Now, a couple years ago, Microsoft basically doubled their Xbox first-party studios by buying a whole bunch of independent studios like Playground Games, Undead Labs, building the initiative from the ground up, purchasing Compulsion, In Exile, and Obsidian. Microsoft wanted to prove to everybody that they were in gaming for the long haul, and to do that, they needed new studios to create content not only for the Xbox ecosystem, but for Xbox Game Pass, and eventually streamable through xCloud to many different countries across the world. Buying those 9 studios was expensive, but it would be nowhere near expensive and as huge as purchasing the Warner Brothers Gaming Division, because AT&T is asking for a ridiculous and massive $4 billion. So hypothetically speaking, if Xbox were to purchase Warner Brothers Gaming Division, what would their $4 billion get them? Well, it would get them 15 new studios and some gaming IP, but it would not, I repeat, would not get them the Batman IP, any IP from the DC Universe, or Harry Potter. Those IP would be retained by their parent companies, but then Xbox could essentially enter in a negotiation to try to get the licenses for their studios to work on those properties. So essentially, Microsoft would be spending all that money to acquire the studios and the talent within. And let me tell you, out of those 15 studios, not all of them are created equal. Some of them are support studios, but the crown jewel of this investment would obviously be Rocksteady Games, Netherrealm Studios, and Monolith Productions. Now, Rocksteady Games, if you don't know, they are the creators of the incredibly successful Batman Arkham series that spanned the Xbox 360 generation as well as the Xbox One. They put out Batman Arkham Asylum, Batman Arkham City, and Batman Arkham Knight, and they are rumored to be working on Suicide Squad, which is supposed to be coming out sometime in 2021. Netherrealm Studios is the creator of the Mortal Kombat franchise, and yes, if Microsoft acquired the division, they would get the Mortal Kombat IP, which means Xbox would have Mortal Kombat. And I could see a scenario where they say to Netherrealm, hey, you can continue to make Mortal Kombat, but wouldn't it be interesting if they did a versus game Mortal Kombat versus Killer Instinct. I mean, they've done Mortal Kombat versus DC in the past, and they've made the Injustice games, and Microsoft is looking for a fighting game developer to continue on with the Killer Instinct brand. Netherrealm makes a ton of sense as a studio that Xbox has their eyes on. And then you have Monolith Productions, the makers of the Fear series, Condemned Criminal Origins on the Xbox 360, but you guys listening probably know them more for the Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War games that have come out in the last couple years. They're working on something brand new, AAA, and I'm dying to see what that game is. The Warner Brothers Gaming Division also includes Avalanche Software, and don't get mixed up here, folks. It's not the developers behind Just Cause or the Mad Max series or Rage 2. This is Avalanche Software, the makers of the Cars series and Disney Infinity, who are currently rumored to be working on a Harry Potter RPG. They also own the Traveler Tales games developers and their 5 subsidiaries who make the Lego games every single year, like Lego Jurassic Park, Lego Star Wars, and stuff like that. And then, of course, you have the support studios, Warner Brothers Games Boston, Warner Brothers Montreal, who is making that huge Court of Owls Batman game that's supposed to be debuted sometime next month and maybe launched this year, Warner Brothers New York, Warner Brothers San Diego, and Warner Brothers San Francisco. I'm sure everybody sees why Microsoft would be interested in acquiring Warner Brothers games. They have a couple pretty good developers and, of course, 2 world-class developers who are the best at what they do in Netherrealm Studios and Rocksteady Games. Imagine this scenario that once Rocksteady sends out Suicide Squad, sits down with Microsoft to decide what game they wanted to make next, and they said Justice League. And Microsoft says, okay, they licensed out that IP, and Rocksteady makes a game with Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, and The Flash that comes out on the Xbox ecosystem with all the AAA production values that Rocksteady is known for, and launches into Game Pass day 1 and streamable on xCloud. It could take that service to another level. But at the end of the day, it comes down to cost, as most things in life do. Is Warner Brothers Gaming Division worth the $4 billion to Microsoft? Now keep in mind, Microsoft spent $2.5 billion on Mojang for Minecraft, and even back then people were wondering if that was a good decision. Obviously, in hindsight, we could say it was an excellent decision, as Minecraft is basically the world's most popular game and is making Microsoft money hand over fist. Could Microsoft buy Warner Brothers Gaming Division? Of course, $4 billion is nothing to a company like Microsoft. Are they interested in buying Warner Brothers Game Division? Absolutely, 100% they are. Are they serious about it? I think they are pretty serious about it. But the question then becomes, are they going to do it? If I was in charge, I would roll the dice and make this deal, but of course, it's not my money, it's not my division. I don't have to budget these things out. I think adding those studios to make games for the Xbox ecosystem and Game Pass would be a huge boon for them. No pun intended, of course. But I just don't see Xbox being that aggressive and spending that type of money in acquiring all the things here that they would have to acquire. They would be laying off a ton of people because Microsoft just wouldn't need the publishing arm of Warner Brothers Gaming Division. They have their own. So it would create a huge turnover of jobs, and some of these studios Microsoft wouldn't need. Would they need Warner Brothers San Francisco or San Diego? Probably not. Do they need any of the subsidiaries of Traveler's Tales games? Probably not. You're essentially spending money to get Rocksteady Games, Netherrealm Studios, Monolith Productions, Avalanche, maybe one studio for Traveler's Tales, and maybe Warner Brothers Montreal. And most importantly, the IPs don't come along with them. Sure, you get Mortal Kombat, but you don't get the Batman IP, you don't get the DC universe, you don't get Harry Potter. You would have to pay for those separately. And that's where the price comes in. $4 billion is probably way too much for this purchase that doesn't come with any of their IPs, and that's why Activision, EA, and Take-Two haven't really jumped on it yet, because it's probably still too expensive for them, and they would keep all these studios multi-platform, where Xbox could essentially maybe make make them exclusive. Now, if the price jumped down to $2 billion, I could see Microsoft jumping on it, making one last splash to kind of make Xbox Game Studios the first-party powerhouse in all of gaming. But at $4 billion, I just don't think Xbox has it in them to do something like this. So what would you do if you were the head of Xbox? Would you spend that money to acquire Warner Brothers Gaming Division and get Rocksteady Games and Netherrealm? And what would you have them make? Would you have Rocksteady make a brand new IP? Or would you continue to license out the Batman IP for them to make games like that? Let me know what you would do in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Tell a friend about the channel and share this out on social media. And if you always want to be notified immediately when I drop new content, make sure you hit that notification bell. Thank you guys so very much for checking out the video. I greatly appreciate it, and I'll see everyone in the next video. Later, guys.